Hi everybody, and welcome back to the second video in the investment series for beginners. So we're going to have a look in this video at what is percentage yield and how does it work, and this applies to savings accounts, CDs or certificate of deposits. You can see my previous video on that one, and crypto staking. So that's basically similar type of things. Let's just get straight into it. So we're going to go through this excellent article, APY Calculator, and we're going to look at what API is, how does API Calculator work, and how to calculate annual percentage yield. The difference between APR and APY, so APY is annual percentage yield, so we're going to have a look at that, and then we're going to go through the calculator to show how it works. So let's get straight into it. So the APY Calculator is a tool that enables you to calculate the actual interest earned on an investment over a year or any other period. So annual interest yield, or APY, is a measurement that can be used to check which deposit account is the most profitable or whether an investment will yield a good return. So this is key if you're going to invest your precious money that you have. You will want to know what return that you'll get out of it. You can use it in the reverse, of course. You can find the interest rate with a given compound frequency if you know what the annual percentage yield is. So we'll look at that when we do the calculation. Also, just for your convenience, we'll let you play with actual amounts. So I'll leave the link in the video description, which you can see now, and you can come to this page and use this calculator. Pick the initial balance and time in which you'd like to get the final balance. And our calculator, as usual, do it in reverse, and our calculator will return the results immediately. The APY calculator may also save you from miscalculation. That's why this application is useful for both fledgling entrepreneurs and rabid investors. So Axion also has a calculator, and we're going to look at that in another video where you can actually stake your Axion tokens for a great return. So we're going to look at that in a separate calculator. This one here is focused on the annual percentage yield, and so we're going to get into that now. So what is APY? APY stands for annual percentage yield, so it's good to remember that. So that's how much return you'll get in that year, and it's really around compounding. So otherwise called effective annual rates, you might see that EAR as another term. This measurement is used to estimate the potential gain from an investment or the final balance in a deposit account. Okay, so that's the key thing that you want to know there, that it's potential gain from an investment. In order to make smart financial decisions, you have to remember that the final balance depends on a range of aspects. You have to take into consideration not only the interest rate, okay, so that's the interest rate here at the top, but also the period of time you're going to invest your money for, okay, so that's the term here. So the interest and the term for your money on the calculator, and the kind of interest, whether it's simple or compound. So annual percentage yield is good for compound calculations, and you can also do simple as well, and we'll show you how to do that. So what annual percentage yield? You can compare a number of interest rates which have different compounding periods. Okay, so you can use it not only to tell you what the percentage yield is, but you can also compare it to other compounding periods. This is because APY is a measurement similar to compound interest, but expressed in percentages. Well, you can always use the compound interest calculator, and you can obviously use the link below to get to that. In order to check the final balance of your investment, the APY calculator will estimate its annual percentage gain. And that's what a lot of people really care about. Remember that APY is not the same as APR. The latest stands, that is APR, stands for annual percentage rate, okay, and is normally associated with loans and mortgages. All right, so don't get confused there. Provided you don't invest money but borrow it, the formula is quite similar. In order to help you decide which loan offer is the most beneficial, you can use the mortgage calculator, which will use APR. This tool helps you estimate the amount of money you'll have to pay back. So really we're interested as investors in the APY. So let's look at the next section. Before we get onto the calculator, how does the APY calculator work? Okay, so this is the second question of the topic. This APY calculator bases its calculation on two values, the interest and the compound frequency. So compound frequency just means how many times the interest is going to be reinvested back in for you. So how often, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, that sort of thing. Thanks to a variety of options in the second box, which is this compound frequency one here, you can compare a number of offers which have different compounding periods. So, for example, you have the following offers: interest rate of 1% compounded yearly. That will give you an APY of 1%, so that's pretty easy. Interest rate of 0.7%, that compounded quarterly, that will give you a rate of 0.702%. An interest rate of 0.5 compounded daily would give you a 0.501%. So that's where the compound power comes in those 2-second examples. Now the only thing you have to remember is that the higher the APY value is, the better the offer. That's all you have to remember. So the higher it is, the better the offer. By calculating APY, you can see that the first of the exemplary offers pays the most. So that's referring to this one here at the top, this one here. So let's have a quick look at the more technical details of how to calculate annual percentage yield. You don't have to remember this formula, you just have to have a basic understanding of this calculator, which this formula is being put into. The calculation of the annual percentage yield is based on the following equation: APY equals 1 plus R, which is the interest rate, divided by N, which is the periods, to the power of the amount of periods that you're compounding, minus 1. Alright, so 1 is that starting value, or the amount that you're investing. Alright, so that 1 is what it reflects as your initial investment amount. That is the interest rate there, and these are the time periods. So it's the time periods there. So where 1 is the interest rate, and then N is the number of times the interest is compounded per year. As you have already learned what APY is, you can use this formula to calculate the annual percentage yield by yourself. However, it would be tedious to make all these calculations for each offer you wanted to consider. Much easier and time-saving solutions to use this APY calculator. All you need to do is type the interest rate, 2%, determine the compound frequency, i.e. if it's every 6 months or half year. The calculator will then calculate the APY. In this case, it amounts to 2.01%. So that's not bad. So compounding is super important in your returns, and Einstein said it was the 8th wonder of the world. So it's pretty neat. If you want to make the inverse calculation, you can use the savings calculator. The tool helps you to estimate how much you'll save or how much you need to deposit if you want a certain amount as your goal. So it's very goal orientated. So let's finally wrap up with the difference between APY and APR before we get to the calculator and do a real example. The best way to understand the difference between APR and APY is to consider a real-world example. Let's imagine that you are about to buy a car and you are looking for the best way to finance it with loans. You go to a bank which offers you an APR of 12% with interest to be paid monthly. The bank doesn't charge you any other cost besides the interest. It means that in every month you need to pay 1/12 of the annual rate, which is 12 divided 12 equals 1% in a month. We translate this scheme into APY. We get a slightly different yearly rate, as APY takes into account the effect of compounding factors. The yearly rate is expressed as 1.01 to 12 months minus 1, which is the original, equals 0.01268. So according to APY, the bank is charging you 12.68%. So that's just multiplied by 100, which is the yearly interest rate. So as we hope you can see, the annual percentage rate, APY, and the annual and the APR or effective annual rate are the same if there are no additional costs on the loan and you need to pay the interest once a year. So that's if you're looking at a loan, but our main focus is on the APY. Now there are some other questions here and answers, so you can check those out. We'll just briefly go through them now. What is APY in a savings account? APY is a measure of how much your money will grow by in 1 year as a percentage of the initial amount. So that's true for crypto staking as well on Axion, also true for certificate of deposits on banks. So Axion staking is a certificate of deposit, but it's on crypto, but it's a supercharged one. It's got extra rewards in it as well. So APY is a measure of how much your money will grow in 1 year as a percentage of the initial amount. The number should be present on the account, allowing you to easily compare between different investment options. So what's the difference between APY and the interest rate? The interest rate is the amount that your investment will increase by over a period of time, for example, a week, a month, or a year. This increase may also be counted on the previous increases your investment has accrued. But what will vary? APY is similar. It is also how much your money will increase by, but this is the most accurate measure as it is over a year and takes compounding into account. So that's really the key there. difference between the plain interest rate and the APY is the compounding effect, which is basically having your interest invested more often within a year period. What is a good APY for savings account? A good APY is one that the highest percentage you can find. It is therefore recommended that you hunt around for the best deal before settling. See if it is the minimum balance, check online, and be aware of additional fees. So that's really important to remember. In the United States, you won't do much better than an APY of 1%. But with certificate deposits, you can do better, and obviously with Axion, you can do super better. So definitely one for check out, but we'll be looking at the Axion calculator in the next video. So is APY calculated monthly? No, APY is not calculated monthly. It is instead a change in money over a year. To help you remember this, the A in APY stands for annual, so any misconceptions should be cleared up quickly. All right, so let's have a quick look at the calculator here and do an example. Now you can obviously use the link below this video, which has the site where you can do this APY calculator. So let's do an example. Let's put the interest rate as 10%. So we'll just put 10% in there. We've got this compounding monthly at the moment, so it gives us an actual APY of 10.47. So let's do that. Let's do monthly. That looks pretty good. Now let's do the term. The term is just going to be 1 year to keep it nice and simple. And the initial balance is going to be, let's say we put in $10,000. So that would give us 10% over 1 year would give us 10.4713 APY. So the actual APY interest rate is higher than the interest rate they're going to give us because they're going to compound each month. They're going to compound the interest that we earn each month, which gives us a higher return over the year. So fantastic. So $10,000 will turn into $11,047. Now let's assume that we didn't have monthly compounding and we just had flat interest for a year. So if we had flat interest for a year, the interest rate and the APY would be exactly the same, 10%. So see how the compounding works? So if let's go back to monthly, you can see that by compounding monthly, the interest that we earn every month, we actually make interest on interest. So that's how that works, and that's why we get more. If we went to weekly, it goes up again, 10.05, so it's even higher APY. And if we went to daily, if we had daily compounding of interest, then it goes up even slightly more to 10.51. And so we get more in our final balance. So at the end of the year, we would have made a profit basically of $1,051.56 on 10,000 US dollars. That's how easy it is to use this calculator. You can use the link below to click on that. So hope you enjoy that. We've got Stephen in the chat. Welcome, Stephen. Great that you could come along and watch this introduction video for beginners to finance and investments. So this was on APY. I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to subscribe, like, and share. Hit the bell for the notifications. And I will actually, the next video will be on the Axion staking calculator, which is a certificate of deposit with special features and rewards. And we'll have a look at that in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And I will catch you in the next video. Cheers.